Oh, hello. Today we're going to talk about Protagoras. And instead of a question, I'm just going to kind of cut to the chase on this one. Well, I guess it is a question. Can you buy wisdom? And can you learn wisdom? So that's our dialogue for today. So I'm just going to go through this and then we'll put them together. So the question is, if you gave money to someone, can you just acquire wisdom? Yes? So in this one, a student comes to Socrates and says, I've heard that Protagoras is in town and visiting, and he's a sophist, and he said that if I give him money, he will make me as wise as himself. And so he goes to Socrates to get advice, and Socrates says, well, let's go talk to them. And so that's kind of what this dialogue is about. So can you buy an education? Can you buy wisdom? So if we just pay money to a college, does that automatically make us what we desire to be at that time? So if you go to Protagoras and he says, you want to be a physician, you pay me money, I'll make you a physician. And so Socrates is challenging this, and they go on a little dialogue kind of back and forth. And again, the examples are like, if you want to become a physician, can you just pay somebody to make you a physician? And so the student says to Socrates, he's a sophist, and Socrates says, essentially, do you know what a sophist is? And it's clear that the student does not know who it is. So kind of going back to this body and soul, in part of this dialogue, it's kind of interesting that, when we send kids to school, for example, we say, I want them to be physically protected. Their body it has to be safe. Yes? But we don't really think about to whom we give our soul over to. How do we know who these teachers are, what they're really trying to teach us? And isn't it far more dangerous to take away something from the soul, as we heard in the last dialogue, that the soul is much more vital, I think, or at least it's really important for philosophers to focus on the soul over the body. And we tend to take a lot of care into protecting our bodies, but we don't really have I don't think enough conversations about our soul. So, for example, he says, if you were going to commit your body to someone who might do good or harm to it, would you not consider the option of your friends to hold far more value than the body, the good or evil, which depends on the well-being of us all? And so he says there's far greater peril in buying knowledge than in buying meat and drink. And I guess for me, again, I think about education, and again we think about, well, as long as my kids are physically safe, but what are we producing? What kind of kids are coming out of this system, and is it really for the body or more for the soul? And so he concludes by saying, you cannot buy the wares of knowledge and carry them away in another vessel. When you have paid for them, you must receive them into the soul and go your way, either way greatly harmed or greatly benefited. So again, when we think about the physical appearance, when we think about our stuff, that's easy to identify. We can say tall, short, fat, thin, etc. But it's a little trickier when we talk about wisdom, when we talk about the soul. So what's our focus, and what are we producing? So there's Protagoras today, and hope it's going to make sense.